So I went on Amazon and I purchased all the gear required to assemble a full-fledged gaming setup, except for the PC. I already have enough of those. But the way that I selected everything was by choosing the #1 bestseller in every product's category. So we have, for example, the #1 best-selling gaming monitor, the #1 best-selling gaming mechanical keyboard, the #1 best-selling desktop microphone, even all the way down to the #1 best-selling computer desk and office chair. Now, what makes a product a #1 bestseller boils down to sheer sales volume. Any product that has the #1 best-selling badge has sold more units than any other product in its category. According to a lot of the articles I've read, and contrary to my own belief, ratings have nothing to do with it. But if you think about it, any product that has an insanely high number of units sold is probably a decent product. Chances are it's good quality, or it has a good value, or there's something redeeming about it, which is why most of the #1 best-selling products usually tend to have pretty high ratings. But that's not something the Amazon algorithm factors in when determining who gets that #1 best-selling badge. It really is all about moving units at the end of the day. And so in a sense, it's almost like a popularity contest where customers vote on products with their dollars, and whichever product sells the most wins. With that in mind, you can almost view this as like a crowdsourced gaming setup, right? This is like what the hive mind of mankind has deemed the best gaming setup. So I'm gonna put this together right now, I'm gonna take it for a spin, and we're gonna find out together if the human race got this right, or if this is just another one of the many things we f***ed up. Before we continue, this video is brought to you by the Fantex Eclipse G360A. The new mid-tower builds upon the excellent value of the P360A, with more fan locations and 360mm radiator support at the front and top of the chassis. The metal front panel features Fantex's ultra-fine performance mesh design that combines high airflow performance with dust filtration for outstanding thermals and easy cleaning. 3 pre-installed 120mm digital RGB fans can be synced with compatible devices and offer control options via compatible motherboards or with the lighting effects button on the front I/O, completely bypassing the use of RGB software. The case also features robust support for full-length GPUs, multiple hard drive and SSD locations, and the option for vertical GPU mounting. The chassis comes in your choice of black or white and is available now. Thoughtfully engineered and competitively priced, the G360A makes a strong case for your next build. To learn more, click on the link in the description below. As you can see, I'm starting off with our desk, which is the Kubi, or maybe it's Cubi. It's a weird name. This is actually one of 2 products today that I'm familiar with. This is my 3rd one that I'm putting together right now. I have 2 more that I built, that I bought actually, I don't know, maybe a year ago. I liked the first one so much that I bought a second one from my roommate Ian, and I'm very happy with this desk. I didn't realize at the time though that it was the #1 bestseller, and it may not have been a #1 bestseller at that time, but I can definitely see the appeal of this desk. It's fairly affordable. It comes in a variety of sizes. I believe this is, I can't remember if this is 42 or 48 inches. I picked the one that is the same length as the one that I have at home because it's large enough to fit a desktop computer on top of it along with a single monitor. We don't want computers on the floor. It's a no-no. Although this time around I went with a different finish. I just went with like a black wood grain. I think the other one's kind of like sort of dark brown with some darker knots in it. And this being my 3rd desk from the same company, I'm actually very impressed with the condition that all of them have come in, which is pretty much flawless. There's never been any marks, scuffs, scratches, dents in any of the desktops that I've purchased. So I definitely appreciate the QC there. The other thing I like about this desk is something I think a lot of these products have in common, which is that it's a good value. It's not super expensive, but it's not super cheap either. It's kind of that middle of the road, and I feel like a lot of the #1 bestsellers on Amazon kind of tick those boxes, where it's just sort of that nice sweet spot. Obviously, if it takes a lot of sales volume to get that #1 badge, there's not gonna be a whole lot of people who are going for super high-end stuff, and there's not gonna be a whole lot of people who are going for dirt cheap stuff. So I think this setup is actually gonna be a pretty nice balance between price and quality. Here's the desk, and while we're here, why don't we just give it a quick measure. Across, we are looking at 47, 48, and as far as depth goes, from back to front, about 24 inches deep. And in case you want height, we're at about 29.5 inches tall. The finish actually looks really great. Obviously, it's faux wood. We're not gonna get real wood for this price point, but it still looks really good. And if you don't like the black, like I said, there's different grains and colors to choose from, so you can find the one that you like best. We also have a nice little hook here. You can hang your headset here, earbuds, whatever. And on this side, we have a nice little pouch for my setup at home. This is actually where I keep my laptop power brick because it's a dockable laptop setup. So the power brick goes right in here, so I don't have to worry about, strapping it to the bottom of the desk or leaving it on the floor where it's messy. And you can actually flip the 2. When you're building the desk, you can decide if you want the pouch on the right or the left, and same goes with the headset hook. I would suggest doing it this way, especially if you're gonna have your desktop on your desk, because most desktops are gonna have the side panel on the left. And if you wanna be able to see into your system, then you're probably gonna have your desktop on the right, which means you're gonna be sitting on the left with your monitor right here, and that means you're gonna want your headset hook closer to you. as opposed to way over on the other side where you have to reach in. The other thing that I'm curious about with this video, just because we're getting all #1 bestsellers, A, doesn't necessarily mean that all the products are gonna be great, but it also begs the question as to whether or not all these products will mesh well together. Like this desk, for example, the desk might be great, but what if the chair is way too big for it? The arms are too tall and they don't actually fit underneath the desk, that sort of thing. So it'll be interesting to see if all these bestsellers go well together and if they can function as a whole. You know, for being an Amazon Basics chair, it doesn't actually look too bad. You know, like there's a lot of ugly office chairs out there. Some of them are gaudy, some of them look like they're from alien galaxies. This one's just, well, basic. But that's not always a bad thing. However, let's test the desk compatibility, see if it tucks under. Yeah, beautiful. I don't even think it's at its lowest. I think it can go lower. Hey, that's comfy. That's very well cushioned. The cushions feel plush. The armrests are really nice, and they're padded. Oh yeah, I can definitely game in this for a while. The casters glide pretty smoothly. Oh yeah, that's good. That's really, oh, I also just realized that this is pretty much going to be like a matte black setup, and that's just coincidental. But I mean, we got a black mouse, we got a black webcam, black headset, black keyboard. I guess that shouldn't be surprising since black is generally the most popular color among gamers, as opposed to something like white or something like that. Scepter, model E275B FPT165. I think the 165 is because it's 165 hertz refresh rate, 27-inch display, IPS, which was very important for me. But this is also 1920 by 1080, and it does have FreeSync Premium. It's flat. This is a flat screen. They put most of the hardware in the lower half, so it does bulge a little bit, but the rest of it is very thin. For I/O, we've got 2 HDMI 1.4, 1 HDMI 2.0, a DisplayPort 1.2, audio out, and your DC in for power. I'm gonna mount the stand really quick just to see how it is, but we are gonna eventually swap it out for the desk mount arm that I bought. Let's see how it is. Tilt range is actually not too bad, but that's it. It's actually a very sturdy stand. For as thin as it is, there's like hardly any wobble. The arm mount is from Huanuo. I'm always scared of these things. Scared they're gonna pop me in the face. Oh, this one comes with a little Velcro strap so it doesn't do that out of the box. That's nice. Okay. Ah, scary. Arms installed, and damn, that was quick. The mounting solution is really simple and straightforward. You just screw this vertical bracket to the base, and then the C-clamp just latches onto the back toollessly. And even though this desk has a crossbar, it's not a problem because it's wide enough, so the C-clamp latches onto it just fine. What I like most, though, is the backplate, because the backplate has these open grooves as opposed to closed holes if you're mounting a 100 by 100 VESA panel. And this is really nice because you only need to screw in 2 screws at the top of your monitor. That way you can just rest the entire monitor on the backplate and then finish screwing in the other screws and tightening the top too. So that's like a really nice solution because sometimes it's really difficult trying to hold the monitor with one hand and then screw it in from the back from the other because you don't have these grooves to just rest that panel on. And so sometimes you need another person to help you or something like that. So really good design. Ooh. Ah. Bam. Look at that. Beep, 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 beep. It works. It's an arm. It's working. It's smooth. It's moving. Yeah. There's even a cable management channel right here, but I think you need a screw to actually undo it. I wish it was toolless, but you do need one screw to remove in order to remove the panel so you can run cables through it, but it has it. It supports up to 14.3 pounds, and it technically supports monitors up to 30 inches, so not too shabby. You know, we actually still have a lot of items to go through, so instead of unboxing every product one at a time, I'm just gonna finish setting up the setup, and then we'll talk about everything once it's all put together. All right, we're all set up. I've been gaming on this thing for about an hour now, and here are my thoughts. The mouse, there's not much to say about the mouse. It's the Logitech G502 Hero, and it's a tried and true mouse. It's a legend. I've had plenty of use with this mouse, and it's awesome. This is the only other product here today that I'm familiar with, besides the desk, as I mentioned. It's a good mouse. The keyboard, however, not my favorite. This is the EVGA Z12, and it's a mechanical. I misspoke earlier in the video when I said it was a mechanical keyboard. It is not. It is membrane keys. They're using membrane keys, which feel kind of mushy, and the keycaps are just wobbly. They're wobbly, they don't feel great. I wish there was a volume knob at the very least. There's not even that. It is water resistant, and it's only 30 bucks, so if you're really strapped for cash and you're prone to spills, this might be something you're looking for, but outside of that, I can't really recommend it. Another thing I cannot recommend is the mouse pad. The top material feels nice, it tracks well, it's a good size, it has stitched edges, but it slides around. It does not grip the surface of the desk well whatsoever. I was just gaming here and there, and I was just like, whoa, why am I like slipping around? surround. It does have grip material on the bottom, but when you compare this to the grip material on, say, a Bitwit desk mat, it feels completely different, and it's just not, it doesn't grip, it doesn't hold, it's slippery, it sucks. I should have known there was a catch considering this thing's only 13 bucks, and that's the catch. The Amazon Basic speakers are nothing to write home about. They're $20 speakers and they sound like $20 speakers. You get what you pay for in this case. If you're just looking for something to hear your desktop audio without having to wear a headset or headphones, then they're fine, but it's not gonna sound good. It's not gonna blow your socks off, that's for sure. I'm gonna start recording with the webcam now, as well as the HyperX Quadcast S mic, so you can get my feedback on both of those. I'm currently streaming with the Nexigo, not streaming, recording with the Nexigo, and it looks not the greatest. I feel like the quality of this webcam is pretty subpar. It's $40, which makes it cheaper than something like the Logitech C920 or the newer C922 X Pro, but I would much rather spend the extra 20 or 30 bucks to get one of those webcams, which look infinitely better than this one. Not worth the money in my opinion, when there are much better options for not much more cash. The HyperX Quadcast S, however, sounds pretty darn good. It better sound good for the amount they're charging for it. It's $120, I think, for the RGB version, just because it's stupid RGB. $100 for the non-RGB. I think it's just a red LED, but if you want to get fancy with it, $120, it'll set you back. I think the microphone sounds good. If you're taking your streaming or voice recording seriously, I think it's worth the money. I really like the mute button at the top of the microphone. It's capacitive and it's really sensitive, so you barely have to tap it in order to enable mute. Here's a quick demo. Hopefully you didn't hear me there, otherwise something's wrong. But I also like the fact that the LEDs turn off immediately when it's muted to let you know that sound's not coming through. This is the bottom here. Oh, volume, 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 volume. Check, 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 check. Volume knob at the bottom, you just turn it left and right, or clockwise or counterclockwise. It's really smooth, feels good, works well. And the shock arm, or the boom arm, I should say, also works very well. I've had another mount like this that I bought on Amazon a while back, maybe a year ago, and it pales in comparison to this thing. The knobs aren't loose. When you tighten them, they tighten, and it feels pretty solid, especially for the not so much money I paid for it. Really like this mount. Okay, let's go back to the other camera. This webcam's horrible. The one cable that I did buy for this setup was the DisplayPort cable. It's Amazon Basics. It's a 10-foot DisplayPort cable. I don't know why I got 10 foot. I should have got 6 foot. I don't need 10. Why? It's a good cable. There's no latch, locking latch, which I hate. I absolutely hate those. I know they're useful in some cases, but I never need them. This one doesn't have a latch, so that's nice. You can just plug it in and out. But it is a thick boy. It is a very thick cable, which can be nice, but in my case, it doesn't really fit very well inside of the cable management channel of our monitor arm. But apart from that, it's a fine cable. The cable raceways, the cable management raceways that I put underneath the desk, those are great. They come with adhesive already applied. They're made of plastic. They're flexible, but not too flexible, so you can like tuck cables in there and they won't fall out. And it comes with like, I don't know, like a lot of them. It comes with a lot. I only use 2. I think there's like 6 more in the box. So really good value there. This Spectre monitor, I'm actually very impressed. It's like 230 bucks. That's how much it was when I bought it. And it's great. It's actually really great. I think it's a solid value. It's one of my favorite products out of this whole setup, and I would recommend it. I was playing some CSGO, played a little bit of Halo Infinite, and the color is nice. The IPS display does its thing. 165 hertz, absolutely buttery smooth, and 27 inches, again, a solid size there. And no tearing, of course, because it's got adaptive refresh rate with FreeSync Premium. The OSD sucks. The OSD is awful. The buttons are just really hard to press and hard to navigate. Overlooking that, though, it's a pretty solid monitor. I would recommend a monitor arm like the one I got for it, though, because the stand that it comes with is, again, pretty limited, and this monitor arm actually pairs really nicely with the display. Oh crap, I completely forgot about the headset because I'm wearing it. It was out of sight, out of mind, but this thing is awesome. This is the Sensor GS, what is it, G something? SG500, Sensor SG500. This thing's great, $30. It's super comfortable, memory foam ear cups. The headband is really comfortable, no fatigue on my head whatsoever, at least in the hour that I was using it. The microphone I didn't actually get to test out because it uses a combo audio jack, and I don't have a combo audio jack on the system that I'm using, but based on the reviews that I was seeing on Amazon, it's mixed. There's kind of polarizing. Some people said the mic sucked, some people said it was good, so I think it's probably just okay. But the sound actually sounds really good. It's got surround sound. Beyond surround sound, though, it's got really punchy bass. Mids and highs are pretty clear. For 30 bucks, the sound definitely impressed me, and it makes the listening experience actually fairly enjoyable. It does have an inline mute control as well as volume wheel, braided cable. Yeah, good. This is a good product. And I think that's pretty much it. This is the #1 best-selling gaming setup on Amazon, at least at the time when I purchased everything. And I think it was pretty expected, you know? I didn't expect all the products to be gold. I didn't expect all of them to suck miserably. We got a mixed bag. I feel like it went right down the middle, you know? Like half of the products I would highly recommend, and the other half I would stay away from. But you guys let me know what you think about everything here. Love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching this video. Toss a like on it before you go if you enjoyed it. Get subscribed for more tech content on the way, and I will see y'all in the next video.